Vande Jagadgurum Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samsthita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namah. And today I am going to say something about Manas Puja. We all know of this Manas Puja. It is internal worship. Whatever I am doing externally, the same thing I am going to do internally. Actually, in Ramakrishna tradition, if you want to do puja, if you want to succeed in puja, every puja you have to do Manas Puja first, and then only we are doing the external puja. And our scriptures say that the worst is to do external puja. But looking from the higher standpoint of view, nothing which is done to the divine is worse. But this is the adama bahya puja. That's what they say. Then a little higher than that is jap, and then stava, stotras, reciting of hymns, etc. Then on top of that is meditation, dhyana. Okay, so we have as a race always insisted on meditation, on going inward. Swamiji says that even our country, the climate of our country was like that. He has given a very beautiful example where the Greek society, they excelled in architecture and whatnot because their climate was very congenial, very pleasant, neither too hot, neither too cold, etc. And so they excelled in material achievements. And what we did, our country was very hot, major country. Now I will just leave out the upper hills. Generally, the situation is that it's very hot, and so they turn in. And we had civilized long back. Even before that, what Swamiji says, when Americans were wearing feathers in their cap and hunting, we had our own civilization, and that civilization is getting older and older and older. Many more excavations are coming up, and we just can't. That's why Swamiji says, history dares not to peek inside those darkness, because it can't say. If I say that, oh, I am 700 years old, our civilization, then something else will come up which says, no, you are 200 years old. Then something else will come, no, it's even more. So that's old. That's how our civilization is. So we found out that we had enough of enjoyments. Then we found out that enough is enough. All these things are not going to give me satisfaction. So let me solve the problem once and for all. We wanted permanent solutions. That's what India is. We never going for temporary solutions. So they found out that this Manasa Puja, this meditation, this going inward is something very wonderful. And what they discovered is whatever is outside is inside also. So that's another concept. And how effective is Manas Puja? And there's a very interesting story. Arjuna was a Shiva bhakta. He did a lot of penance, and got those astras, Pashupatra and whatnot. Even before that, he was very devoted to Shiva. And once Krishna said, come, let's go and pay our obeisance to Shiva, and they were going towards Kailash or any place wherever Shiva was. And they found the Bhuta Ganas, attendants of Shiva. They were carrying loads and loads of flowers, bilva leaves, etc. And then Arjuna asked, what is this? What are you doing? And Ganas were so busy that he couldn't even catch hold of one because they were too busy emptying the Nirmalya, worshipped items. Then somehow he managed to catch hold of one and asked, what is happening? He said, no, a very big puja is going on. Then who did it? Some person named Bhima did this, arranged this. And can you please tell him not to offer so much? Even working overtime, we are not able to, meet the work. So please, if you meet him, ask him not to give so much. Now Arjuna was really surprised because Bhima was, if that person had named Yudhishthir, he would have understood. Okay, I am out and then Dada kuch arrange kiya hai. Then others, okay, then how come Bhima of all persons? He is only concentrating on eating and drinking or picking up a fight with some demons like that. So then Krishna said, he is offering it mentally. So this is how Arjuna's ego was crushed. He found that even if you arrange very grand items, whatever you will offer mentally is of greater efficacy. And there's another very interesting story which Vedanta Pranamati told me. It's also recorded in that Prachal Katha. There was a Mysore. And you know, any puja, it involves money. Okay, the more grandly you want to do the puja, the more money you should spend. You know, there's a place called Kumatuli in Calcutta. There are many, you will get mothers, decorative items and other things. So one Kali Puja, Mataji told me, come with me. So you have never seen Kumatuli, you will go with me. Then there were some very grand, you know, garlands and other decorative items. And one person was there behind me and said, what's the price of this, what's the price of that? Then that person was telling, no, this is costing this much and that's much. Then he said, oh, is it costing that much? Then he said, first you fill your purse with money, then come and the bargain with me, otherwise don't come here. That means it is costly to do puja. So now this particular Mysore, he will not spend money. But on the other hand, he has heard, you know, without doing puja and all, I mean, it's good to do puja and other things. So he asked somebody so obedient, a saint, he went and, you know, rishis were consultants. Psychologists much before psychologists came there. So he went and told his problem. See, I want to do puja, but I can't spend money. So please tell me some way out. Then that saint said, oh, I have a best tailor-made package for you, and that is Manas Puja. Every day you offer everything in mental. Then there's no problem. Then this Mysore was very happy. Yes, this is the right thing to happen. And then he came and every day he would do a puja. And what he will do, he will make Ramji sit in front of him. Then he will have a glass of milk. And in that he will put 1 spoon of sugar. This is his way. He won't put 2 spoons because that's extra. And milk will also become very sweet. So this has been going on for days. And he quite enjoyed it. Now because there's no money involved, no, and everything was as per he wanted, and he was having a very nice time. Then what happened was, one day as he was about to open the lid, everything is happening mentally. That sugar can, he was opening that can and he was about to put the 1 spoon of sugar inside that. Then the lid just happened to just open up and 2-3 spoons fell inside. Now you know, samskaras die hard. Now this one is a Mysore and he won't let 2-3 spoons there. Like I would have left it, because what will he do with that wet sugar? If it was dry, then it's okay. Before he mix it with milk, if you just separate it, it was okay. But then it just fell inside and he was about to lift it up when they say that Ramchandra, because he felt so sad for this person. You know, God feels sad for us. And then he caught hold of that Mysore's head and said, this is an imaginary milk. And the sugar is also imaginary, even your measurement is imaginary. So what happens if you just put something extra in that? And the beauty of the story is that the touch of the Lord changed this person, transformed this person, and he turned into a new leaf. So this is what happens in Manas Puja. Even if it is imagination, even if you struggle to hold on to all your defects, it so happens that your defects will go away from you, because the person on whom you are meditating is purity himself, and he sees to it that your defects will go off from you.
I know once Shataparna Mataji had come to the ashram in Delhi. So somebody was, এখন এই প্রণাম করছে, সে প্রণাম করছে, so সবাইকে Manush pranam korbe. That is what she said. This is the only way and you can always do it all the time. So that has stayed in my head always.
Actually, you know, we want to show our respect. Because that's the attraction of these holy ones, right? But they see us as manifestations of God. So from that point of view, she is absolutely correct. But from my point of view, you know, I want to show my respect to the Mataji. There was another yogi who was meditating, and he used to do this Manas Puja, and he was a worshipper of Mother, Divine Mother. And every day after finishing he would just sit in a corner and do his dhyana, and then he will go off. So one day he was putting some ornaments on Mother, the Divine Mother. And then another person, after he finished decorating, another person, he was also a yogi, he came and patted his back and said, look, the ornament which you have given Mother, say a necklace, you have adorned her with this, it's not straight. It's bit like done like that way, please correct it. So see, this is another thing which proves that if you are in the same vibration, you are affecting others. So even if I think good things, that is going to change my atmosphere, influence others who are coming in the same vibration. So once Raja Maharaj, he used to bring all sadhu and brahmacharis and he asked them to meditate with him. And one day, one brahmachari said, let me test Maharaj. Like immediately, as soon as they used to sit, their minds will be merged in meditation. That's the presence of the spiritual dynamo. But then this person, he thought, I will test Maharaj. And he sat in a corner and he started to think other negative thoughts, Then after the meditation was over, Maharaj called him aside and said, if you want to test me alone. Don't test me in front of everyone, because all are trying to go up and your one thought will not let them go up. So this is the way your thoughts influence others. Your thought is reflected even in your face. If you go to a home and that lady, she opens the door and she shows your face, a very reluctant face. Even if she says she doesn't want to show it, her face will show it, her actions will show it. You will feel a sort of negative wall around her. So that's the power of thoughts. So never underestimate the power of thoughts. And Bhakti Marga tells us to think of the Lord. And there's another instance how this is Manas Puja is effective. There was again a saint, and this saint, he was a devotee of Shiva, Lord Shiva. And what he did, what all devotees do, any devotee, as soon as you plan a home, you reserve a corner for God. Okay, even and generally gods, they find a place in kitchen. There is a small space in kitchen, and he will look at what you're cooking or not, and it's easy, just put the dishes which you cook, offer it to him, and then take it out to the dining space. But nowadays, you have a space reserved for God. So any devoted person, any Indian Hindu woman for that case, she will have a place, a corner for that God. And it's really wonderful to see how all the gods adjust with one another. You go to each and every pilgrimage site and you collect one photograph, and all will be sitting nearby. Okay, sometimes you manage to wipe some, sometimes you don't manage to wipe some, sometimes you put sindoor, sometimes you put chandan, and it's there for days. God doesn't mind. He's okay as long as he gets his place and he won't leave his place. And he is very good in that. And that's how he manages his way out. It is very interesting. We have to learn these things from him. So this particular yogi, saint, he thought of building a temple for Shiva. He sort of, maybe he knew architecture. He had that, like in the olden scriptural way, like how to build the temples. He was very much interested, but he didn't have money. Okay, so he decided he will build a temple, maintain it. And every day he used to sit in a corner and he will think. Well, first he dug that thing, Astivara, then he put pillars, then he completed the Nat Mandir, then he made the shrine. And then people around him used to be irritated. This fellow does nothing, just sitting in a corner for days together. Then he didn't bother, He went on continuing with his temple. Then finally he fixed one day to open the temple. And it so happened that a king had also built a temple. And he also fixed the same day. Because it's a holy day, Generally people select holy days for doing good works, auspicious works. And then Shiva, he came in a dream to the king and said that I'm sorry, I'm too busy, I'm booked that day. Can you reschedule the appointment? Then the king said, why, what has happened? He was a king, you know. Then he said, no, being booked by that particular person. And then the king was really astonished, because as a king he had thumb on all, on the pulse, you know, what's happening there, who is doing what. And inside his territory, a person had completed a building, and then he called his spies, and then they got their due. What are you doing? You are not able to find out some person has built a temple. And she was coming and giving me the thing. And so they went to that particular place and they asked, they found nothing, no signs of any temple, etc. Then they asked people, and people are the best spies. You know, if you want to know about someone, just go and ask somebody. He will tell everything about you. Okay. And then they said, no, there's a person who is always idling away, sitting in a corner. You can go and ask him. Then when he was asked, that person was moved to tears, because he didn't know that Shiva would pay importance to his word. So God only looks at your heart. He doesn't look at glamour. He doesn't look at grandeur. He doesn't even care about rituals. Of course, we must try to do rituals properly. But even if you do like this or that, he doesn't mind. He only wants one thing: are you devoted to me? Do you love me? That's the only question he wants. So this is what we must pray. Kayena vasa manasendriyaiva. Whatever I do with my body, mind, words, buddhyatmana va prakrite svabhavat karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai narayanayeti samarpayami. Whatever I do, at the end of the day, if I can fold my hands and tell the Lord, whatever I did today, I offer it to you. That will be sufficient, and this is Manasa Puja. And then the next part, Bhagavata, the Bhakti Grantha, describes 9 types of bhakti. You know, people might get bored of following what we have infinite options. That's why I like Calcutta, because there are infinite varieties of sweets. Okay. Now even in ice cream, when we were small, we used to have that vanilla ice cream or the chocolate ice cream. Okay, that was what we had as a child. Then I could see that strawberry thing. Now you have so many varieties. Even we have that, I think, what, that atta ice cream, like that. Very many different things. So that's the beauty of life, and we are excellent in creating varieties. So similarly, the Bhakti Shastra also describes 9 types of bhakti. What is that? Shravanam, hear his glories. Kirtanam, sing his glories, sing his name. Vishnu Smaranam, Vishnu here, but it is applicable to any devotee. Shiva, Vishnu, Devi Ma, Ganeshji, Hanumanji, any devotee, any god, everything is the same. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, think about him. Pada Sevanam. Pada Sevanam means pressing his feet. Think that you are pressing his feet, or you can decorate him like Gopala. You can get new clothes for him. Okay, like that. Then, or put a good simhasan. Shivji is there. Then you put a new cloth on which he will sit. He doesn't want anything, you know. He is happy wherever he is placed. But then it's for us. Archanam. Archanam. Doing puja and other things. As told in the scriptures, Vandanam, saluting him. If you can't do anything, Thakur says this to Girish, can you just salute?
What is
Salute the Lord.
Archanam and Vandana?
Archanam means you are worshipping, you know, performing worship. And Vandanam is saluting him. Dasyam, consider yourselves that you are a servant of the Lord, as Hanumanji thought. Or Sakyam, have a friendship with him. You can even scold him. This is better than being a dasya, having a dasya. I always remember Meera's song. She always says, Meera dasi janam janam. Let me be your. There is a prayer from Andal. She is also a saint. Like here, that I am telling you, I just have one request. In this life, in whatever lives I will get, let me have devotion to you. Let me not forget you. So that's the prayer which a devotee does. And Atma Nivedanam. Just give yourselves to him. It's the best thing you can give, Give yourselves. And he's such a great master. He will take care of you. If you are like Bringi, he's in very good hands. He knows that I will get my food, I will get my, whatever I want, even my tika at the right time, that sense. So, this is how someone takes. That's why Holy Mother says that if you give responsibility to a good man, he never does anything wrong to you. So give yourselves, give your responsibility to the Lord. Tell him, please take care of me. So this is how a devotee should spend his time. So this practice of being with God is very important for attaining mukti. Okay, so now we saw all these things. So let us come to some practical aspects of what is the duty of a devotee. What should a devotee do? If I am a devotee, what should I do? Okay. If I want to be a cook, what should I do? The first thing is wash your hands and don't cut your nails, wash your hands, wear an apron, then you can enter the kitchen, okay, and then you will be given instructions like that. The Lord says, if you have faith in my words, so the very first thing is have faith in his words. That's number one thing. And then you must follow it with faith and devotion. You must have devotion for him. It can grow, but if you don't have anything, then it's difficult for you to even have respect. The first thing is you should have respect, otherwise you will not listen to anything that person says. Then what happens if I have faith and if I do all these things, whatever he has asked me to do, then you can easily overcome samsara. And this samsara is very difficult to cross. Not easy at all. But then this samsara you can cross easily. And so what should I do? Mameva sarva bhuteshu. Look at me in everything. I am there in everything, each and everything. And bahirantar apavritam. Put your mind in me. Your mind. Whether I am consciously I am thinking of him or unconsciously. That's a very beautiful story. Again, related to Manasa Upasana, there was a king and a queen. And as usual, the queen was very devoted and she used to do a lot of all these things, celebrations, festivals, etc. And the king won't do anything. He will only manage his affairs and he was quite busy. And this queen was so sad. My husband is going to be a Nastika. He never comes, he never does anything, he never participates even. So one day what happened was, she called all the ministers and said, arrange a very grand worship. There should be a lot of celebration. Now the king, generally he knows, the queen says, no, I have arranged this and this. Because if you can't get permission of the husband, and more in this case of the king, you cannot do anything. And then he said, what happened? Such a big arrangement is going on. What happened? Then she said, the queen said, last night, the first time you took the name of Lord. So I have arranged this festival in your honor. Because I never thought that I will hear you taking the name of God in my life. So this is what I am arranging. Then the king said, he was very, very sad. He said, all these years I have been keeping him as a treasure in my heart. And now he has come out. So this is the viewpoint. How can I judge a person, from outside? But anyway,
He was always thinking of God,
and he never said no of his bhava outside. This is also very important. I shouldn't go on proclaiming my devotion. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. Okay, God is seeing you. Why do you want others to see? And then the moment you are, Thakur says, meditate in the mosquito net at night. Don't let others know your intentions. Then immediately you are in the spotlight. They are going to tease you. They are going to deride you. They are going to make all sorts of. They are going to irritate you. The new tendency in modern world to irritate people who are. One devotee told me, Mataji, if somebody goes to the church or a mosque, they are not commented upon. But if I go to a temple, all my colleagues, they bully me. Bully me in the sense they find it funny. Said, why are you going now? You can go when you are old. So this is the thing which you are going to be facing. And if you are old, they will tell that, oh, so what, why don't you take care of my grandchild and other things? Is God only in the temple? He's also in here. Take care of them first. Is it not enough that they have taken care of you for years? And why do you want to transfer your responsibility on old people and then you will go and enjoy?
Yes.
And always you want them to take care of your family, take all the responsibilities, and you will not have any time to follow your vocation. And that is the important vocation for every human being, which is to call upon God. So somewhere you have to stop. Somewhere you have to say, not anymore. Somewhere you have to pull out time for yourself. And so the best way is not to reveal yourself. Don't say, so people, oh yes, she has her privacy. Now this is one advantage of modern society. They will comment if you go to a temple, but you will say, it's my private, oh yes, it's a private affair, okay, let's not disturb. So let's take advantage of that. And then he says, visit pilgrim spots sanctified by my great devotees. Because once a person realizes God, that place is sanctified. So that place becomes tirtha, tirthi, kurvanti, tirthani. So those places, if we go and visit, we get those vibrations. Then try to follow their teachings. Maybe I cannot do 100%. Again and again the scriptures are saying this. Try to do a little bit. It will take momentum. But if you don't take the first step, you will not get anything. Then celebrate special days, sacred days, like Janmashtami, Ramnavami, Shivaratri. Okay, then Navaratri, or anything else, even Christmas, in Buddha Purnima, everything. For as Thakur has said, all parts are the same. Alone or in a group with music, dance, processions, all these things are told by Krishna. And then, what a very big thing. Have an even outlook. Be a samadarshi. Whether people are holy or outcasts, or persecutors, or adorers of holy men, whether that person is tranquil or whether he is ferocious or cruel. Have the samadarshita. Everyone, inside everyone is the Lord. But again, you should remember, Thakur is telling that Bhagnarayan, you don't go and embrace. You salute them from a distance. Wicked people, you salute them from a distance. Why are they there? To show us, Thakur says, this world is dual. As there is light, there is darkness. As there are good people, there will be evil people. And evil people are there so that good people will be recognized more. So, if you see the Lord in all, what happens to me? Okay, I am seeing Lord in everyone. Okay, that's the highest principle. What will happen to me? Number one, you are not going to inside and unnecessary competitions. And another thing which is very important, you are not going to be jealous of anyone, because in that case you are being jealous of yourself and you are not going to be egoistic. And these things we will discuss later in Jnana Yoga class. And another thing, overlook the ridicule of friends and relatives. The moment you want to think about God, immediately taunts and things will begin. Throw away shyness and shame. And what he says, like a stick, praname dandavad, bhuma vashma chandala gokharam. Literally, I was dumbstruck reading this sloka. Like a stick fall down, prostrating before all, dogs, outcasts, cattle, asses, even donkeys and asses. I salute them. Why? Seeing them as manifestations of the Supreme Being. And this is coming out from a Bhakti Shastra, supposed to be the highest principle of Vedanta, Bhagavata. And then the question is, how long should I do this? Okay, that should be a duration. How long am I going to practice all these disciplines? Yavat sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhavo nopajayate. Till you see everyone as me. Till then you should practice it. This is what the Shastras say. Why should we practice all these things? Because these are characteristics of a realized person. But those characteristics will be our sadhana. What is natural for a realized person should become natural to me by practicing. So, this is what you should do. Tavadeva upasi vang mana kaya vrittidihi. Think like this. act like this with your thoughts, words and deeds. Maybe I cannot show in deed, I cannot go and salute and ask, okay, but in my mind I can think that yes, the Lord is within it also, and I will not pull a stake or a stone and beat it. Okay, at least that much I can refrain myself. Then never think, see again and again Shastra say add another thing. The ideals are very high, the principles are very high, and we know we cannot progress so fast. So what they say, don't think that your efforts will be wasted. Nothing is wasted. But if I do some work with expectation of some results, it might fail. Suppose if I think that I will climb that mountain, halfway I went, then my leg is paining, I am coming back. I am not succeeding in that. So my effort has gone in vain. I didn't get that peak. I didn't go to the peak. But in spiritual life, everything is stored. That's the karma. And Sat karma, it helps spiritual evolution in this birth or the next. Janma Janmanta, that's what even the Krishna says, Janmani Janmani. He reaches me through birth. Then from that birth, all the accumulated things, suppose if I slip down, that's what Arjuna asked, what will happen to a person who fails? Yoga Brashta. What happens? Then he says, no, again when he will come to the next birth, all these things will be added to him, and again with renewed energy and enthusiasm, he will go forward in a spiritual path. So nothing which I do spiritually goes waste. Everything is kept for me. And it is a great thing to preach the Lord's name to all. And he who reveals this knowledge, the Lord himself lights the lamp of knowledge. He says, Dadami Buddhi Yogamta. I grant them the intelligence which is necessary to reach me. Unless he gives, you cannot go to him. Self-effort is only to an extent, but then comes grace. You cannot do anything in spiritual life with self-effort. I will say this. Unless the Lord wills, you are not going to take even one step. So, prayer is very important.
But from our side, that self-effort has to be there.
Self-effort is the sign of God's grace. That's what I have heard the elders are telling me.
Okay.
Who hears these with devotion is freed from karma. And then he says, as he says, it's a blessing to say the words of the Lord to others, to spread the glories of the Lord to others. But he also says, don't tell this to a hypocrite, an atheist, a person who is very, very crafty, nichalak, chatur, a clever person. Don't tell him. And don't tell him who doesn't want to hear. And don't tell him who is without devotion. I remember Thakur's words. Devotees used to bring others because they were benefiting from Thakur's words. So they used to bring people, and especially Swamiji, and then Thakur will say, Jake take dorelias together. Don't bring people because they are not, the time hasn't come for them. Okay, and then sometimes he will say, Thakur had a very keen observation. He is seeing devotees are listening attentively, and then from nearby, that person, he doesn't want to hear, he is not interested. Then, how long are you going to be here? And then he will pull his sleeve, and then they'll say, I'll wait at the boat. And sometimes Thakur will say, go and see Rashmani's garden. It's so beautiful, why don't you go and enjoy the scenery? So this is what happens if you are going to tell people who are not, they are happy to go up and down in the, or go round and round in the transmigration wheel. So shall I not say to anyone? No, you can tell. You can tell to devotees. You can tell to those people who have very high moral standards. Because Thakur has said this to Vidyasagar. He has, through sattva, he has done a lot of good works. But he doesn't know the gold is buried within. So these people, I told while discussing Karma Yoga also, even if people who have not given the stamp of spiritual to themselves are spiritual if they are morally fit. So if they are morally pure. So you can tell my name to pure people. You see, I was looking at these ladies who are working here, hilly ladies, hilly women, tribal women, and children or men, even for that matter. They are so pure. They don't know about all these things, but once they hear, they are so devoted. They are very devoted. So this is how we can tell to people. And even if someone is of a lower caste, even that person can hear. We should remember that this scripture was at a time when caste restriction was very rigid. So there were restrictions. People would not allow others to hear these things. But then Krishna says, if anybody is devoted, they are eligible to hear this. And then he says, I am the ultimate value of life. I am the end. So as Thakur says, मनुष्य ईश्वर लागी होचे मनुष्य जीवने उद्देश्य. So I am at the end. Come to me. I am at the end through all the paths. And then again we will go to the Braja Gopi Bhava, because Thakur, what I feel is as women, particularly because this is a women's group, it's easy for us to appreciate the lofty principles which are the bhava which gopis had. And then again Thakur has said that take this yearning. So let's see, yesterday we saw how the gopis went about their daily routines, uttering the name of God, how their mind was tuned in God. But were they mere ladies, ignorant ladies, worshipping, taking the name of some person whom they liked, because Krishna was born, he was born somewhere else, but he was brought up with them. So was it mere hero worship, or did they have something else in their mind? Did they know that Krishna was divine or not? And why should we appreciate or learn their love, Gopi Bhava? So Sri Krishna sent Uddhava to Vrindavan. Point one, Uddhava was a jnani. And as I told, there was always a tough war between jnanis and bhaktas, and he didn't appreciate the fine sentiments of bhakti, devotion. He didn't want that. And then so Krishna, he was a very good teacher. He will never say anything directly. He will teach through indirect methods. So he said, why don't you go to Vrindavan? Gopis there and my father and mother, they used to love me a lot. But now I am not able to go there. So just take a message from me and go and meet them and console them. Then he said, okay, Uddhava was Krishna's friend. He can't refuse, friend's task. And so he went. And then he met Nanda Baba and Yashodama. And then he found them. The first question which they asked was, is Krishna okay? Even before telling anything, sharing any views, the first thing they asked was, is he okay? That's what a devotee does. He forgets himself. He thinks about others. Then while discussing, then Uddhava says, he is not an ordinary person. He is not merely your son. Sarvesham Atmajo, Hyatma, Pita, Mata, Sa Ishvaraha. He is the father of all, the mother of all, the soul of all, the Supreme Master. Then he says, Vinachyutat Vastu Taram Na Vachyam Sa Eva Sarvam Paramartha Bhutaha. In past, in present, in future, anything that is moving, anything that is fixed, anything which is big, anything which is small, nothing can exist without him, Achyuta. So please don't grieve. This is how he is trying to console his father and mother, but at the same time he is also looking at their emotions, and now something is happening within him which he can't explain. This was beyond his intellectual grasping. So the next morning, that night, he had traveled a long way, and so they prepared a very good bed for him, and then after having a good dinner, and then he slept and he was refreshed the next day, and he went about in search of gopis. And what did the gopis do? They were doing their daily course. And when they saw this chariot, they thought that Krishna had come, but more than that, they had another thought also, because this Akrura, he took away Krishna, so maybe now he has again come to take revenge on us, or something like that. So they were just chatting amongst themselves, and then Uddhava went there, and then they, again the same thing. Is Krishna okay? Then they had a lot of complaints, They had submitted their heart and soul to Krishna, so they had every right to uh, ask questions and even criticize him. So they said that we can understand why he doesn't remember us. It's okay, because see, if in case if king is very weak, then people just leave him. Even he never vote. If somebody is not doing work properly, that party will lose, like that. Then a student, he is coming to a class, learning that. Then after he gets his degree, he goes off. He doesn't remember his teacher. Maybe he remembers, but he can't be with the teacher always. And then birds, they will come to a tree full of fruits. I think yesterday the monkey was sitting and eating those leaves. He ate, and then if the tree is bereft of fruits, then it will go away. And then what does a guest do? He comes to home. After having his meal, he goes away. Okay. And then animals, they leave a forest which is on fire. So we can understand, Krishna was here. Now he has gone back. He got Kamsa killed, and he's with his relatives, he's with his clanmen. So he should be happy. It's okay. We can understand it. But then they began to weep. And then Uddhava, he was too moved by these words, and all his consolation, whatever he thought of, was gone, and he also began to weep. Then what did the gopis do? They said, come, you come to meet our friend. She is our very good friend, but she is not in a position to come and meet you. Because Uddhava said, I have brought a message from Krishna. That's why they said it's better that you tell this to our friend, but because she is very, very ill, not ill, she is not in a position to come. So you have to go to her. So Uddhava went, and she saw, that's described in the Shastras, a very thin golden statue. Radha was golden, she had a golden hue, and she was lying in a bed of lotus. And people had applied chandan on her, sandal paste on her. But he saw all those lotus had withered away. Lotus bed was made so that it has a cooling effect. Because she was so much immersed in Krishna, so that Viraha, this is known as Mahabhava, she can't stand the separation from Krishna. So all the lotus had withered away, and that Chandan also it had burnt. It was burnt. And then Uddhava thought, is this person living? Because there was no movement. Then her friends, Gopikas, they took a tulo, cotton, and they put it under her nose, and it moved a little. Then Uddhava said, oh, at least this person is living. But he was in such a position that she can't live long. Like that was how she was. And then a bee came there. And immediately she started addressing the bee. Why are you here? Because when Sri Krishna was there, even in Rasa Leela, first when the Rasa Leela started, the gopis used to sing. Someone played the drum when they were dancing. Then further says that the bees, they used to have flowers, and the bees were humming around, and that became the song. So, music, words stop when you go higher and higher. When God is there in front of you, you don't have words to say. So then that she is addressing that bee and telling, Brajapati is now Yadupati. Don't come here. Don't come here and hum. Go to Mathura. And there you can sing. We are very insignificant people. He doesn't bother to see us. Why? Because even Sri Devi, Lakshmi, she is pressing his feet. So such a person is pressing his feet. Why will he look at us? We are ignorant people, but we are also foolish. That's why we can't forget it. If we were intelligent people, if we were clever people, then if somebody makes us sad, we'll forget it. But because we are foolish, we are not able to forget Krishna. So what can we do? So seeing this, Uddhava tried to console them. Now he had never seen such an expression. He had seen Krishna being adored, revered. Okay, sages were there, and then other ministers were there. Everywhere Sri Krishna was a revered person. Now this is the first person when he is the first place where he is coming in contact with such an emotional environment. Then he gave Krishna's message. What was Krishna's message to gopis? Generally, we would have said, "Don't worry, I am too busy right now. I will somehow make time and try to come and see you. It's okay, eat well, sleep well." Okay, that's what I would have expected someone to console me. But what Sri Krishna said was, "You can never be separated from me." The first thing, a devotee is never separated from the Lord. I permeate this whole world like the Akasha. I am everywhere. I create, I sustain and dissolve everything by my power. I don't need anybody else. And say, is there no in that chessboard? The king doesn't have any power. That minister and that horse and elephant will have. Queen also has the power. The king can only move one step this way and that way, and that too. Anyway, so he is telling that I don't depend on anybody else. I have my own power and I do all these things. Then he starts to tell about the Atman. The Atman is jnana, consciousness, and is separate from body and mind. Suppose he is not connected with the gunas of Prakriti. We saw how Prakriti, Moola Prakriti in balance, Sattva, Raja and Tamas, when that balance is disturbed, the entire creation is coming. So he is telling that the Atman is not connected with Prakriti. Just see what Krishna is telling gopis. Suppose if I am sleeping and someone tells me, "Hey, wake up, how long will you sleep?" Okay, and I am dreaming of something. When I wake up, I know that whatever I have been dreaming is not real. Like that, when spiritual illumination comes, my waking state will become unreal. Knowing this with alertness, vigilance, spiritual, they say no, eternal alertness, vigilance is price of liberty. It's the same in spiritual life also. With vigilance, control your mind. Why should I control my mind? Because the mind goes on brooding about sense objects and it wants to enjoy them. You can never satisfy the mind. That's what we saw that day. It always wants to enjoy something, and if you don't get something, it will brood on that. Suppose if I want to be an IAS officer, I gave an exam. If I am an IAS officer, well and good, but if I don't succeed in becoming an IAS officer, then I'll go on brooding. I could have been that, what happened to me, all my dreams are dashed. Like that, this is what it does, it oscillates. Either it will take you to extremes or it will throw you to extremes. So control the mind. The purpose of whole Veda is control of senses. This is what the Vedas say. In one line, if you want to know what the Vedas say, the Lord says, conquest of senses and mind. That is the goal. As rivers enter ocean, the sadhaka should control his mind and senses. Then he said, I am staying away to increase your yearning. Because if I am near you, you will not have such intense longing for me, because I am already near you. But if I am far away, your yearning will increase more and more. Then he says, Maya Veshya Mana Kritsnam. Put your mind on me. Engage your mind on me. Leave all other thoughts. And you will attain me Achitan. Immediately you will attain me. If you think of me with devotion, with intense longing, you are going to get me immediately. And then he says, this is the proof. Only because external contact doesn't last forever. So we can see even Krishna telling Uddhava later, go to Badri and do dhyan. So only that thing will connect you to the Lord. You should have connectiveness, not to merely external objects. That's what Krishna says here. Those who couldn't attend Rasa Leela in person because of some obstructions, they came to me, they attained me immediately through meditation, thinking of my glories. So thinking of my meditation is nothing but intense thinking of the Lord. Okay. And then what did the gopis say? What did the gopis say? You know, the attraction of an avatara is so powerful, so powerful. So they say that yes, we can understand all these things. We know that, whatever you are telling. But can you tell me one thing? Does he remember Gokula? Because whenever we see the Kalindi, Yamuna, or when we see the Govardhana, or when we see these forests, when we see the cows, or when we hear the flute, immediately we cannot forget him. Because you know, our mind is not with us. He has stolen our minds and he has gone away. So how can we control our minds? How can we do anything, whatever you say? And then Radha said, He Natha, He Ramanatha, Vrajanatharthi Nashana, Magnam Uddhara Govinda, Gokulam Vijinar Navat. We are drowning in the sea of sorrow, lift us up. Why did Radha say all these things? Why did she say that? It's a lesson for us. It's the lesson of prayer. How should we be devoted to God? How should we pray to Him? That's why they are telling this. The same Mahabhava, we can see this in Thakur's life. Bhairavi Brahmani saw blood used to come out of his pores. And she used to put chandan on him and put scented garlands. So this thing is not an imagination. This has been proved in Thakur's life. And same thing we can see Holy Mother's life also. And there's a song that says, Viraha anale apuna dahile, bhutale jiva mangale. For the welfare of mankind, you came as Radha and burnt yourself in this yearning of God. Why? Manava Hridaya Kori Madhumay. To sweeten the people's minds, to show how devotion will sweeten your hearts. Vitari Shuddha Bhakati. To spread the pure devotion. That's why Holy Mother also did this. So Uddhava, seeing this yearning, now his arrogance had totally gone and he praised them. Gopis are indeed the only people who have attained the real purpose of human birth. They have succeeded in getting this Mahabhava. And then he said, this is what all of us are aspiring for, to remember God always. Okay, but we are not able to get it. Saints are performing tapasya for ages. And here, ignorant, nomadic, householder ladies, they are getting unknown ladies because they are not well known. If Krishna hadn't sent Uddhava to Braja, how would have people come to know of the gopis? Krishna could have been silent. The gopis are not coming and proclaiming to everyone that we like Krishna, we did so much for him. They never said. So these unknown people, nomads, they are taking their cows here, then one day they will go there, then another people, they are getting this Mahabhava, which even Lakshmi Devi has not got. Even the heavenly people have not, heavenly women have not got. Because like a medicine, you take a medicine, purposely or unknowingly, it will show its effect. Like that, if you have bhakti, you are going to get the result, the highest Mahabhava. Then he says, these people have given up all their attachments, their husbands, their wives, their children, okay, their relatives. Generally, we are very attached. Women are very attached. Men are not so attached, but women can't live without them. But they have given up. And what's the ornament of a woman? Chastity. That also they have given up because Lord is the only Natha. Okay. Asamaho charana renu jushamaham syam vrindavani kimapi gulma lataushadhinam. Let me be born as a plant, a straw, a bush, a creeper in Vrindavan. Why? Because when the gopis will walk here and there, the dust of their feet, charana renu, I will get it on my head. That's the devotion which gopis had. So this is the highest level of devotion to which a person can go. And after knowing this, Uddhava repeatedly saluted them, and displayed his respect, and he stayed there for many months singing the glories of the Lord. And then he came back to Sri Krishna, and then of course Sri Krishna asked him to go to Badrika Ashrama and to see. So what we hear from the scriptures, we should practice it in our life. This is the Gopi Bhava. This is the devotion which we should have, at least aspire for. Worldly relations are there. Of course, I am not asking you to come out of your world and then immediately run away. That's not what they did. Again and again we are seeing this. Arjuna continued in the battlefield. The gopis continued in their household duties, but their mind was on God. That's what we should try to do. Be in the world, but not be of that. So that's for.
Did it what happened afterwards? Like when there were, the story must have continued.
Actually, in Bhagavata, the story stops there.
That's all.
But commentators actually, they say, Vedantic again, she was a very good exponent of Bhagavata, and she had told us that the Bhagavata never mentions names, even of Radhika. That's only Gopi. But the others, they have, through their meditation and realization, they have found out who is this person and that, and they have said that. So this is a teaching for us. Actually, Sri Krishna never visited Vrindavan. He never visited the gopis again. But there is a very, because he was in the center position, at central position, and he had a lot of people to deal with. And the moment a person knows that, oh, that particular person is attached to this particular place or community, they are going to go and get rid of that community. So even to save them, he didn't go there. But they say in Prabhasa Kshetra in Gujarat, there was an eclipse, and then the gopis and Radha, they went there. And there, Sri Krishna, that's also another story, that's also a very nice story. Then Sri Krishna would always think of gopis, always. Whenever, and he had many wives, right? So all these wives used to think that what is so special about her, about this Radha and gopis. So when they came, once immediately some say that many couldn't even see her. Many couldn't see Radha because she was so pure. They only saw her as a flash. So Satyabhama and others, they welcomed her and they gave a seat to sit, and they gave her some milk. And she drank that milk and then she left. And at night when they came to do Pada Sevana to Krishna, they found his legs full of boils. And they said, what happened to your legs? He said, no, it's okay, just leave it. But they insisted. Then he said that you gave a glass of milk to Radha, it was too hot. And my feet is always enshrined in her heart, and she never takes anything without offering it to me. So my legs were gone. This we can see in the life of Meera also. She was given poison, but then the Krishna statue turned blue. So the Lord never allows the devotee to be affected. So that is Gopi Bhava. But then, as he said, in their meditation, they were always with him. One with him. Physical proximity is not everything.
Is that then Krishna gave the message that I am never separated from you. But they said we know that. But they were longing for that,
Yes, they were longing for that. But then they added in something.